5 on a treasure island. Do you think the famous 5 will find the treasure very easily, or will the story have a plot twist and turn things around? Stick around to find out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Advaith Spot. Before we continue 5 on a treasure island, let's have a recap of what we saw last episode, shall we? Previously, we saw that the 5 had explored the wreck, found a map inside a box they found in the wreck, created a copy of it, learned that they were competing in a race to find the treasure, literally, and had gone to the island to find the gold before their opponent even arrived. Their opponent was a man who had bought the real map and now wanted to buy the island so he could find the gold before the children. Of course, he didn't know he had opponents though. Let's start with the 12th chapter now, shall we? Chapter 12. Exciting discoveries. They realized that the stones that made the floor of the room were fixed perfectly in place and there was no way to move them. Then they realized that the entrance was next to the well using the map. So, if they could find the well, they could start searching near it and hopefully find the entrance. Suddenly, Tim fell behind a gorse bush at the center of the castle. The 5 were there because the map showed that the well was there somewhere. Then they saw a hole leading to the well. Tim had fallen into it and had entered the well. They got Tim out and they searched near the area. Then Anne found a ring in a stone. She pulled it with the others and lo and behold, the entrance was revealed. They all got into the dungeons using a flight of steps and looked around. They all went into a random pathway while the echoes immediately split, doubled, and increased the volume of their words. Then they found a door. They assumed that this must be blocking them and the gold. Chapter 13. Down in the dungeons. They couldn't open the door though. Why? Because some smart man had put a lock with a giant keyhole on the door but without a key. They decided to go back and grab an axe they had brought to smash open the door. But they were lost. They wandered until they reached the well and soon found the entrance near it. They realized that it was late evening, so they decided to eat supper and tuck in. They re-entered the dungeons after their breakfast the next morning and decided to use chalk marks on the wall to mark their path so that they won't lose their way again. They would rub out the chalk marks if they went the wrong way. They found the door and crash! The axe was in the door and so was a nail in Dick's cheek from the door. Dick and Anne went out into the open air to stop the cheek from bleeding, leaving Julian and George to continue chopping. They soon crashed open the door and found the gold. Chapter 14. Prisoners. Suddenly, 2 men appeared. They were the people who were going to buy the island. They told the children not to do anything silly or they'll be shot by a revolver. George and Julian did as they were told. They were also ordered to send a note to Dick and Anne saying that they found the gold and must come down and see it immediately. Not a word about the men was mentioned, however. so that the men could make the 5 prisoners. Off Timmy went with the note tied to his collar. What the men didn't know was that George had signed the note as Georgina instead of George, hoping that the 2 above would find something fishy. And they did. The 2 went over to the bay and found a motorboat next to their boat. They started to think how they would rescue the 3 prisoners and beat the men. This race was getting serious. So guys, do you think that the 2 will find a way to perform a rescue, or will they fail drastically? Make sure to like, subscribe, share and keep your eyes peeled for the next video to find out. Bye!